And hi again, everybody. Welcome to Kemper Arena in Kansas City alongside Nate Bukaty. I'm Nick Vassos, and a special hello to our Edmonton fans watching from north of the border. The Attack and Drillers meeting for the fourth time this season, Nate. The Attack winning 19-16 on Thursday night, and they did it in come-from-behind fashion.
Yeah, Kansas City trailed the entire game and did not take the lead until the fourth quarter. Alan Sosa with a three-point goal. Nate Hauser with a hat trick as well. That's what did the trick for Kansas City in that game. A come-from-behind victory, as you said, trailed 8-2 in the first quarter.
Boy, when you talk about the Edmonton Drillers, you got to talk about Nikola Vinjevic. He has got 100 points on the season, and last night in St. Louis, he tallied his third cycle of the season.
That's an impressive feat, and for the cycle in the NPSL, that's a three-point goal, a two-point goal, and a one-pointer all in the same game. Nicky's done it 3 times this year, and last night he set a team record, or tied a team record, 5 goals and 11 points.
Boy, it really has been impressive for the Drillers, but for Kansas City, specifically on Thursday night, Nate Hauser, who has been injured in and out of the lineup, boy, he had a very impressive game Thursday night, especially late in that contest.
Third hat trick of the season, and he had that goal against the sixth attacker, an empty netter, a three-pointer for Nate Hauser. He makes the All-Star game the second time in 2 years. He's playing some excellent soccer for Kansas City.
Well, Kansas City and Edmonton will hook up for the 4th time this season. We'll have the starting lineups and the kickoff coming up next.
Yep, I'm here.
Having some fun. So this is opening billboards. Tonight's National Professional Soccer League battle between the Kansas City Attack, blah, blah, blah. That's it, right?
Starting lineups brought to you by Hardee's, right?
Yes. Where the food's the star. Tonight's National Professional Soccer League battle between the Kansas City Attack and the Edmonton Drillers is brought to you by Apple Market, your friendly neighborhood food store. By Vanguard Airlines. Book online at www.flyvanguard.com. And by Hardee's Restaurants, where the food's the star. And we're back inside Kemper Arena, Kansas City. Glad you're with us, either in Edmonton or right here in Middle America. The Drillers and Attack meeting for the 4th time this season. And let's get a look at the starting lineups.
Starting lineups, Nick, brought to you by Hardee's, where the food is the star. And first of all, For the visitors from Edmonton, Shane Campbell, Nikola Vinovich, of course, the guy we talked about earlier with the hitting for the cycle or scoring for the cycle last night in St. Louis. Nebojsa Vinovich, his elder brother, LeBaron Holloman, and Kevin Holmes, the captain. And in goal will be Paul Shepard, second in the NPSL in points against average. For the Kansas City Attack, it'll go Clovis Seamoss, Wes Wade, 2 All-Stars, Nate Hauser, the 3rd All-Star, Justin Cottrell and Sammy Akime. Akime, the new captain of the team, and of course the wily veteran in goal, Warren Westcoat.
Boy, Warren's started every single game this season for the Kansas City Attack. Ross Ongaro, head coach of the Edmonton Drillers. He is in his 4th year, regular season record of 77-68. An Edmonton native, 2-time coach of the year. He's also coached the All-Stars 2 times. He's experienced a lot of success in his young coaching career.
An unbelievable job, and these 2 coaches here share 4 Coach of the Year honors between them. Of course, on the other side, Zoran Savic is a guy who is the only person ever to win an NPSL title as a player, as a coach, and as a GM, and he's also a 2-time NPSL Coach of the Year as well.
And we're underway from Kansas City, the Drillers and Kansas City Attack. Glad you're with us. Edmonton has the ball to begin the first quarter of play. And here comes Justin Cottrell with a new hairdo. Long ball down to the corner to Hauser. He shoots. The save is made by Shepard. Comes back out to the Drillers' leading scorer, Vinovich, and plays it into the middle. Sammy with a touch. Both teams pinballing it around. Vinovich sends it forward to Holness, Drillers' team captain. Now Holness with a give and go with Nebojsa. And we've got a whistle, and the Drillers will have the first restart of the game.
Well, Kansas City right out of the chutes gets a good scoring opportunity at the other end of the field, and now with a restart goal, a restart opportunity for Edmonton.
Now both these clubs good on offensive restarts and good defensively. Vinovich to the right wing corner, and LeBaron Holloman with a touch. Holloman sort of a homecoming for LeBaron. He was born right here in Kansas City, Kansas. Spent the majority of his time in the NPSL playing with the Wichita Wings. This is his first year in Edmonton.
9th year in the league for LeBaron, and as you said, born and raised in Kansas City, Kansas.
Warren Westcoat, first change of the game. Alan Soso, Jeff Davis are the defenders. Here comes Warren up near the center circle. Out to the right wing to Eric Wilson. All pinballed around. Drillers winning last night in St. Louis, 18-10. We talked about Nicky Vinovich scoring 11 points and 5 goals. The Attack ended a losing streak on Thursday when they beat the Drillers 19-16. Both these teams have won 1 game after ending losing streaks. The Attack in first place in the Midwest Division, a game up on Wichita. The Edmonton Drillers are 4 games behind the Milwaukee Wave.
Yeah, it's amazing. With a 25-15 record, you can find yourselves 4 games back. Just testament to how unbelievable Milwaukee has played so far this year. Edmonton, though, the bulk of their games have come at home. Now they're in the middle, at the end, actually, of a 5-game road trip, and it hasn't been a very easy one at all.
And this is the 3rd game in 3 days for the Drillers. They played Thursday here in KC, Friday in St. Louis, and of course they're getting it on right here inside the Dasher boards for the 3rd game in 3 days. So we'll see if fatigue becomes a factor late in this contest.
Spent a lot of time on the bus the last 4 days.
Now about 13 minutes left in this opening quarter. Here comes Nate Hauser over the right side to Sosa. Back to Nate. Shoot! Goal! Nate Hauser with a click of the heels, and the Attack strike first. It's 2-0 KC.
Nate Hauser picking up right where he left off on Thursday. 3 goals against Edmonton on Thursday for Kansas City's Nate Hauser, and he places this one right in the back of the net. A great pass from Alan Soso, and just a give and go from Hauser to Soso. Back to Nate right at the top of the box, and he places it in with the right foot. Great pass from Soso. Great finish by Nate Hauser. A little click of the heels to celebrate.
That's a new display there for Nate Hauser. Used to take off the shirt when he's clicking the heels now. There's no place like home. Kansas City off to a 2-0 lead. That's Nate's 25th goal of the season. He now has 59 points on the year. Both those are career highs for the 7th-year player out of San Diego, Nate Hauser.
Just the 4th assist on the season for Alan Soso as well. He played a big game also on Thursday for Kansas City with that 3-point goal to give Kansas City its first lead of the game.
Huge. Long ball from Holloman goes sailing in the seats. And they'll bring it back onto the Attack's offensive half. That off the foot of LeBaron Holloman. They're obviously not happy about that. Some instruction from head coach Rasson Garrell behind the bench. Sammy Akime with a restart into the middle to Wild West Wade. Wade trying to turn, plays it over the left wing to Clovis Simas. Now back to Justin Cottrell. Swept in there. Wade got a piece of it, and Shepard at the last moment. Coffey quick to knock that one up over the plexiglass.
Well, Kansas City looks like a team that had yesterday to rest a little bit and get its bearings. Right now, Edmonton coming out like a team that spent the last 3 days driving back and forth on I-70 from Kansas City to St. Louis and back. Kansas City a little sharper with their passing and getting 3 good scoring opportunities already.
3 men in the wall. Corner kick to KC. Wade on the ball. Up top to JD. Swing it right side for Akime. Akime sends it in there. Shepard with a kick save. Back up on his feet. Kansas City will reset its offense. Here comes Sammy Akime. Foul called on Edmonton.
It's going to be Angelo Sestito that gets the foul. Of course, he's a guy that grew up in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Just kind of slid in there. He got a piece of the ball, but also a pretty hard tackle takes Sammy Akime down.
Sammy, the team captain for Kansas City. Wilson to Wade. Wade off the boards on a deflection up top to Clovis. He shoots. Stuffed by the Drillers' defense. Kansas City will reset its offense once again.
Clovis Simas playing with some flu-like symptoms as well. He played under those conditions on Thursday, did not practice yesterday. Didn't play a whole lot Thursday against Edmonton, but he's out there and gets a quick shot off already this game.
Not only is Edmonton on a long road trip right now, but they're playing without some players. Martin Dugas, Edmonton fans know very well in the All-Star game. He went down with a knee injury late in the All-Star game, and also Paul Daly is out, as well as Alfredo Valente. Now Simas with a shot. Shepard says, not here, not now. Kansas City maintains possession.
Well, that loss of Martin Dugas is big. Of course, he led the Drillers in scoring in 97-98. He was coming off an ACL tear in his left knee. Now he's battling an MCL tear. It's been a tough go for Martin over the last couple of years.
Drillers get it inside their offensive half, and Eric Wilson guilty of the foul. Wojciech Vinovich draws the foul, and his younger brother Nicky restarts it.
And Abosha the elder, but this is his first year with the Drillers.
Now in the middle of the box, Westcote comes out, and Sipo Sevilla, correction, make that O'Neal Brown, and Westcote get tangled up, and a foul is called on O'Neal.
An aggressive play by Warren Westcote. I think that's actually a handball called on O'Neal as he fell on top of the ball.
Now Lester Felician making a run in there towards the box. Drillers sidestepping. Titus is there, very strong on the ball. Titus got the first goal of the game on Thursday night. Westcote and Titus on a collision course. Kansas City wins the ball, but Edmonton gets it back. Now a shot from 3, deflected away by Davis. Here's Titus trying to work it in. Kansas City's defense pushing out. Jeff Davis will send it long up to midfield, but this one bounces into the penalty box.
Warren Westcote coming off his line on the last 2 balls very aggressively, well outside the yellow line, and in a pretty vicious collision as both he and O'Neal Brown reached the ball at the exact same time. Then from the seat of his pants, Westcote cleared it out of there, and drew a nice round of applause from the fans for the defensive effort.
Kansas City keeper Warren Westcote in his 10th year. All with Kansas City except for 1. Banged off the boards, in the middle of the box it goes. Westcote is there to cover up.
Cody's an extremely consistent performer. You pretty much know you're going to get a workmanlike effort from Westcote every time out.
He holds the majority of the attack's goalkeeping records, wins, saves, minutes. Here's Hauser. Into the corner it goes off the top of the dasher boards. Rebounding out, Angelo Sestito. Hangs it off the glass into Shepard, who sidearms it back to Angelo. Now in the middle to Hanser. A little questionable whether Hanser was going to be able to go. He's had a real bad strain of the groin, and he didn't play Tuesday of last week in Wichita. We did see action last night in St. Louis.
We didn't see him Thursday, though, against Kansas City.
He's one of the all-stars for this Drillers team. Hanser playing in Cleveland. Now in Edmonton. Here comes Simas, the attack's leading scorer. Simas pushed down from behind, and a foul is called on Chris Hanser.
Well, Clovis was hoping for a card there as he felt like he had an angle and a good shot on goal, and basically just kind of shoved to the ground by the bigger Chris Hanser with the left arm. Still a dangerous restart coming up for Kansas City. Jeff Davis and Wes Wade are both out there. Both of those guys can strike from long range.
Jeff Davis will be behind the ball. Soso up top and Wade on the far side. It goes over to Wade, hits it first time, inboard deflection. Wade shoots again, and the drive is just wide to the right. Comes off, and here comes Holness. Drillers team captain inside the yellow line. Double team by Wade and Wilson. Foul is called on the Drillers. Kansas City will take over, and both teams will get a change.
Kevin Holness called for the holding foul right there, and it allows both teams to change up. Kind of one of those inconsequential fouls when it's a restart in the neutral zone like that, but it does allow Kansas City to establish possession, and they like to run it through their quarterback, if you will, and Warren Westcoat, the goalkeeper.
Professional foul, I think I've heard it called that before. Here's Sammy and Kime. Sammy sends it over the near side to Jeff Davis. Legal left foot. He doesn't use it this time. Played it out to the right. He's stolen away by the Drillers. Vinovich lost it, and Holness right on the half line sends it forward on one hop. Westcoat sends it back to the half line. Warren is one of those goalkeepers who's very good with his feet. And in this game, you really do, especially with the new rule implemented this year.
That's that over and back rule you're talking about, Nick. That means that once you get the ball out beyond your own yellow line, you cannot bring it back. It's kind of like the over and back rule in basketball. Warren Westcoat is able to come out beyond the yellow line and run the offense for Kansas City. He's probably, his coach Zorn Savic will tell you, the best goalkeeper with his feet in the entire league.
Here's Nate Hauser. He has the only goal of the game so far as Kansas City leads 2-0 over Edmonton. The Attack have won the 3 previous meetings with the Drillers, including a sweep early in January at their place, in which the Drillers were undefeated at the time at home, 10-0. Very impressive win on the road. Here comes Eric Wilson, second-year player out of Drake. He has him front and center. His touch lets him down, and the Drillers bang it off the boards and retake possession. Here's Kurt Botch. Botch sends it long, looking for D'Onofrio. Westcoat sends it on up to the half line. D'Onofrio has been a KC killer. You would think Nicky Vinovich would be the player to really do some damage, but D'Onofrio has the most points in 3 head-to-head meetings with 12.
That's probably why Kansas City is 3-0 against Edmonton so far, Nick. Their ability to slow down Nicky Vinovich is one of the main reasons Kansas City has had so much success against this Driller team this year, and they had success in Edmonton where nobody wins.
Yeah. Here's a shot and a goal!
Well, that was a typical Clovis Simas goal right there, working his way through some tight space. Clovis Simas giving us the evidence why he's the 5th leading scorer in the NPSL.
Kansas City leading Edmonton. We'll bring you back to Kemper Arena in Kansas City after this.
That goal right there.
Clovis Simas turned 32 on December 22nd, and he is on his way to being the NPSL Rookie of the Year at 32.
And this is his first year ever playing this type of sport in indoor soccer. He's played futsal before, he's played outdoor soccer in Brazil, but he's never played the NPSL game before this year.
Here come the Attack on the right wing. Soso into the middle, deflected away by the Drillers. Holloman and Hanser down there in the right wing corner with Olivas, and now Soso with a little bit of support. Angelo Sestito is down there as well, and a foul. It's called on the Attack.
Really difficult for Edmonton. They're put in such a bad position by having to drive back, but it happens to every team in the NPSL. The road schedule is really a tough one to get through. That's why a lot of times you see, most of the time, the team at home has the upper hand.
Well, 3-3, the Bermuda Triangle. Good save there by Shepard. It comes off in the left wing corner. Hauser is there with Alician. Kansas City hanging onto the ball. A lot of possession time here in the first quarter for Kansas City as they lead 4-0. This is one of the things that they did in Edmonton that was so effective. They held the ball, worked it around the perimeter till they created a high percentage shot. And so far here in the first quarter, Zorn Savic has to be happy with the way his club has performed. Sammy, top of the box, shot save made by Shepard. Now Davis for 3, and it goes in.
Well, Jeff Davis, one of the best in the whole league in three-point goals. Right there, that puts him up to number 7 on the year from beyond the arc.
Well, Jeff Davis picks up his 8th seventh-pointer of the season and gives Kansas City a 7-0 lead. We'll be back after this. Foot. His teammates kid him that right foot of his is just there to keep him from falling over.
Kind of interesting when you talk to Jeff too. He says one of the main reasons he has such a strong foot is because his foot is so small. You would think maybe a bigger foot you can kick the ball harder. He says he has these small feet, and that puts direct impact on the point of the ball that he wants to make, and he is able to direct the ball better. That's why he has that heavy shot that you don't see sail into the stands very often.
Kind of like Joe Reiniger, I think he's got small feet too, and boy, he's very dangerous from downtown as well. Here's Warren Westcott, distribution right up Main Street, right over the head of Clovis Simas. Todd Batee is back there for the Drillers. Batee sends it long. Soso picks it up off the carpet. Now a steal. Here's D'Onofrio walking in. D'Onofrio shoots, and a save made by Westcott. Maybe the best opportunity for the Drillers so far this evening right there.
Warren Westcott does a great job of cutting off the angle, and for a guy that stands at 6'3", he does an amazing job of getting down to the ground, used his knee and his arm that time to scoop that low shot off the ground. When you stall, when you're that lanky, it's very tough to get those paws on the ground. He does a great job of it.
Vinovich fires it in there, deflected over the near side. Holloman digs it out of the boards, and we'll play it back to Shepard.
Kansas City is going to be called for a foul here. Alan Sosa with a little push in the back. Right now, their shots on goal so far, though, Kansas City dominating up to this point, 10-1. It should be after that last shot by Edmonton.
Wow. Here's Rattie. 67 blocks. He's among the top 5 in the NPSL in block shots, along with O'Neal Brown. Now a steal. Here's Lester Felician walking in. Lester sidesteps the keeper, Shepard, able to knock it away. Good play there by the Edmonton keeper, Shepard.
Maybe one touch too many for Lester that time. Just couldn't quite get the ball around the keeper who came out. Lester's most devastating weapon for Kansas City is his speed. He was able to outrun the defense right there. Just couldn't finish on him.
Alan Soso. Back to Warren Westcott. Westcott sends the red, white, and blue ball to Hauser, turns and fires, and Shepard is there to make the save, and he's up and throwing to D'Onofrio at midfield. D'Onofrio marked by Justin Cottrell, sporting a new hairdo. Here's Paul Shepard. He's among the top 5 in keepers in the league. He's got a good points against average, under 12.
Number 2 in the league in that category, Nick. 15 games played, 11.57 goals against.
And once again, Shepard goes down on the side to make the save.
Should say 11.57 points against, goals against.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a very good average.
Well, you know, they've got some new keepers in Edmonton. Carmi DeSacco is no longer with the club, trying to work out a trade, but they brought on a new keeper.
Jim Larkin will don the number 22, 6'3", 195 pounds. Shepard really had outplayed Asako, and Asako wanted to be a starter, so they had to part ways. But Paul Shepard has proven that he's more than adequate in goal for Edmonton so far this year.
Here's Sipo, Sabinier in the right wing corner. Jeff Davis is right there with a block. Now Soupy, Shane Campbell fires one from 3. And look out, fans, that one up and over the glass. Goal kick coming up to Kansas City with the attack leading 7-0.
Edmonton really hasn't been able to maintain a sustained offensive attack so far.
Now Simas over to Clovis, or actually Carlos Olivas. So Simas to Olivas, and Kansas City builds its lead to 9-0.
Well, Clovis Simas was shut out in that last game for Kansas City, as he had no goals playing with the Blue. He's already got a 2-pointer and an assist right here. He finds Carlos Olivas right next to the goal mouth, and he simply just redirects that ball right into the back. Excellent pass from Clovis to Carlos. Carlos Olivas on the year now, Nick.
15 goals.
15 goals.
15 goals for 16th goal of the season, rather, for Carlos Olivas. 41 points on the year for the Kansas City, Kansas native. Teammates affectionately refer to him as Los. Right now in the first quarter, it's all Kansas City with just 2 minutes to play here in this opening quarter. 9-0 attack.
Kovasimas gets his 14th assist on the year, and he continues to climb the charts. 4 points. He jumps ahead of Joe Reiniger in St. Louis to number 6 in the NPSL with points now, as he has 3 today for 106 points. Nicky Vinovich on the other side has 107, sits at number 5 in the league.
Kansas City with the ball up to Hauser. Hauser trying to get by Shepard, and Shepard came out to the yellow line, took a chance there, and came up a winner on that play.
The best move for Shepard, though, cut off that angle before Nate Hauser's able to really maintain possession and put a move on.
Edmonton not getting back defensively. Here's Olivas in the right wing corner to Clovis, who hammers one off the window just to the right of the goal. Olness sends it long. Westcote up off his line to knock it back in. Now Holloman, he lost it to Olivas. Just scored the goal for Kansas City. Olivas combing it in. Soso over to JD. JD fires from 3. Upset at that shot right there. Goes to Hauser. Hauser will touch it back out to Soso. Coming up on a minute to play in this first quarter. 9-0 Kansas City over Edmonton. Here's Olivas in the middle of JD, trying to flick it behind him to his teammate Hauser. The Drillers come out with it. Here's the Boise Vinovich. Vinovich sends it forward to Brown. In the middle it goes, and Westcote is right there. Soso might have an own goal right there.
Yeah, exactly. Alan Soso dangerously trying to deflect the ball away inside the goal mouth that time, and just popped it right up into the air, luckily for Kansas City.
The attack, 500 on the season, 12-12. Game ahead of Wichita in the Midwest Division. Now Wade to Wilson. Shepard came out. Wilson open net, shoots, score! Eric Wilson adds to the attack lead with 11 seconds left in this first quarter. Eric Wilson gives the attack an 11-0 lead.
Everybody's getting into the act for Kansas City. This time Eric Wilson does a nice job to play the boards, getting around the keeper. Then with a left foot just places it right in the back of the net. Eric Wilson, one of the younger players for Kansas City, comes away with a goal. Kansas City just running away with it right now.
Well, for Wilson, it's his 6th goal of the season. He now has 20 points on the year. And Rosson Garrow's got to be concerned right now with his Edmonton Drillers club, playing the 3rd game in 3 days. And right now the attack just on fire right now in this first quarter.
Yeah, the end of the quarter can't get here soon enough for Rosson Garrow and the Edmonton Drillers. They're going to have to try to regroup and get something going, because 11 points is difficult to overcome, but they have 3 quarters to try to do it.
And they do have the firepower. They've obviously got Nicky Vinovich, and that's going to do it for the first quarter. It's all Kansas City in the first quarter, 11-0 over Edmonton. Five different players score for Kansas City, and it gives them an 11-0 lead, as they have really put the wood to the Edmonton Drillers here in the first quarter. The Drillers got their work cut out for them, no doubt about it. Kansas City with a very good first quarter.
Outshooting the visitors from Edmonton 15-2 in the first quarter. Been a kind of slow game so far for Warren Westcote in goal for Kansas City, but they've done a solid job of maintaining the offensive pressure on Edmonton.
And for second quarter action, here's Nate Bukaty.
Thanks a lot, Nick Vassos. 11-0 is our score. The Kansas City Attack, dressed in their home white uniforms, moving from left to right as we begin the second quarter. The Edmonton Drillers trailing right now with their road black uniforms, yellow and blue trim. Edmonton has been an excellent team at home this year, but on the road it's been a different story. 3-7 is their record in hostile territory. Kansas City begins the second quarter on the attack. Wes Wade in the corner with his back to the goal, puts one on net, and it's punched away by the goalkeeper, Paul Shepard. Now here's a rebound shot by Justin Cottrell that ricochets off the plexiglass, and Kansas City maintains the ball inside Edmonton territory. Here's Wes Wade through to Nate Hauser. He touches it through the goal mouth. Clovis Simas just misfires on his shot, and Edmonton tries to clear it out.
Well, Edmonton had just 3 players back there defensively. There was a lot of space for Kansas City to operate there, very close to the goal.
Nate Hauser, Clovis Simas, Jeff Davis, Carlos Olivas, and Eric Wilson, all with goals in the first quarter for Kansas City, and that's why the score is 11-0 right now, the attack. Here's Edmonton at the other end, and a shot inside from Sipo Sabille is redirected by Warren Westcoat, and here comes Kansas City on the counterattack. Nate Hauser through to Clovis Simas. His shot misses wide and rolls back around to the outside of the arc.
Clovis just trying to play it right there in the middle, hoping that somebody would be running in on the far post to get an easy tap in.
Now Clovis at the top of the D, tries to get it back to Wes Wade. Shot deflected away by Sipo Sabille. Nice defensive job for Sabille for Edmonton. Here's Jeff Davis on the left side. Now Kansas City will work it back out to the neutral zone. Wes Wade controls the offense for Kansas City.
Well, the score wouldn't indicate it right now, Nate, but the Edmonton Drillers are a very good defensive team. They're a very fit team, very physical, fast, and strong team. Right now, the Attack are on top 11-0.
If you want to know how fit this team is, just look at the way they outscore opponents in the fourth quarter. Both of these teams playing today, 2 of the top teams in the fourth quarter. Edmonton outscores its opponents 120-98 in the fourth frame. Kansas City 115-65. Both of these teams in phenomenal condition. Here's Lester Feliciano with a spin move, and a shot ricochets off the post.
Wow, good move there by Lester Feliciano. Very pretty move right at the top of the box.
He's got some excellent moves on the offensive side. Kansas City picked him up from Cleveland earlier this year.
Out of Trinidad and Tobago. He's got 6 goals on the season. 12 games he played with Cleveland.
Jeff Davis fires one up into the stands. Lester Feliciano burst onto the scene for Kansas City. A nice little stop and a pivot right at the top of the D on the ball, and he really left the defense shaking in their boots that time, but he just misfired on the shot.
Ding-dong right off the post.
Well, the Edmonton Drillers trying to mount some kind of offense here in this game as they trail 11-0. Sabille's in the box, and he faces some pressure. Actually, that's Rick Titus who muscled his way in there, so Alan Soso called for the foul.
Ross Ongaro calls Rick Titus the enforcer.
Titus traded from Philadelphia in his 3rd season with Edmonton. On the restart, Vinovich played a pass to Titus, and his shot was blocked away by the defense. And here comes Edmonton once again, working their way on the right side, and his shot rolls into the arms of Warren Westcoat, the keeper. Kansas City leading right now over Edmonton, 11-0, looking for their 4th consecutive win over the Drillers this year. Now Nate Hauser taken down, and an arm to the back from Kurt Bosch, and Bosch will be called for the foul.
Well, Edmonton was one of the favorites this year in preseason. 15-10 record right now.
Nate Hauser passed into Sammy Akime, and he just missed the redirection shot. The foul's going to be called on Clovis Simas on the far board. Sammy Akime had a golden opportunity there, Nick, but he just couldn't quite find the goal mount.
Yeah, well, the good thing is that the Attack had a chance right there, and that's going to make the head coach for the Attack, Zoran Savic, very happy. All he wants is chances. The more chances you get, the more chances you're going to have to finish those.
Just over 3 minutes into the second quarter, Kansas City has not scored yet in the second frame, but they have outscored Edmonton so far today. 11-0 is our score. The captain, Kevin Holmes, with the ball in the midfield area for Edmonton, plays it up the left side to LeBaron Holloman. He'll work it back to the top of the D, and his shot misses off the post from Chris Hanser. Kansas City on the counter. Here's Eric Wilson. Touches it around the defense and plays it back to Clovis Simas. His shot is blocked into the air by Holloman. A nice slide tackle by Kevin Holloman to save a goal right there.
Very good job by LeBaron Holloman, and also the keeper for the Drillers, Paul Shepard. Good work by both of them to keep that shot from Clovis Simas from tickling the twine.
What a move by Eric Wilson to get around to Moshe Vinovich right there. And indirectly, it sets up a restart for Kansas City. Wes Wade and Jeff Davis will both stand behind the ball. These two guys are both a threat to shoot and score.
Yeah, they do pack a pretty good 1-2 punch.
Jeff touches it to Wes Wade over to Nate Hauser. A shot is blocked out of there by Kevin Holness.
Well, they got creative on that one, Nate. He played it through the 5-hole of Jeff Davis over to Nate.
Sammy Akime rips a three-point shot with a right foot that misses wide. Kansas City still trying to keep it in. Here's Clovis Simas along the boards. He meets a challenge from the keeper, and it's cleared out of there by Todd Rattie.
Boy,
Kansas City continues to maintain that offensive pressure, Nick.
Excuse me, Nate. Edmonton has spent a whole lot of time playing defense here in the first half. I mean, and not only that, they're playing defense on the whole length of the field.
Jeff Davis with a restart. Fires one right on the goal, and it's knocked away by O'Neal Brown. And out comes Edmonton the other way. Holness plays it on the near side to Nebojevinovic. And the Drillers will change a couple of guys up and maintain possession in the midfield. You haven't heard much from O'Neal Brown so far today, but he made a good block just a while ago.
Yeah, O'Neal Brown has a great season last year defensively, and he's on his way to having a pretty good year this year as well. O'Neal Brown right now with about 52 blocks on the season. This is his 24th game of the year. 25th, rather.
Sammy Akime down the near side for Kansas City. He'll fire one toward the goal that's blocked out of there by Angelo Sestito. Under 10 minutes to play in the second period. The Kansas City attack all over Edmonton right now, 11-0. Here's Lester Felicion for Kansas City. Fires a shot off the inboards, and it bounces through the box unharmed. And Nikola Vidovic plays it up the near side to Sipo Sabille. Sipo gets a mark from Alan Sosa, works his way to the middle of the field, and fires a shot that's punched away by Warren Westcoat. Cody, I believe, has just one career shutout. Of course, a shutout is very, very hard to come by in the NPSL. He's working one so far, but we still have 9 minutes to play in the second quarter.
Last year down in Florida, Westcoat shut out the Florida Thundercats 22-0.
Another diving save by Warren Westcoat right there to get the ball into the neutral zone.
Jamie Swanner leads the NPSL all-time in shutouts with 8.
Shots on goal right now, Kansas City just dominating 18-4 over Edmonton. And we've got a foul called on the Drillers. Shane Campbell's going to be called for the violation this time.
Shane Campbell, good to be back in the lineup. I'm sure he's feeling good about playing. He had preseason knee surgery, as did the keeper tonight, Paul Shepard. He had surgery actually just back in December.
Eric Wilson working his way into Edmonton territory. A one-touch shot from Clovis Simas misses wide. Kansas City's had several more opportunities here in the second quarter, but have not been able to connect into the back of the net. Edmonton's going to clear it out. LeBaron Holloman tries to outrun Alan Soso to the ball, but Soso is able to win it and play it back to his keeper.
Edmonton just hasn't been able to get their offense going. And really the Drillers, what they like to do is post a guy up right at the top of the D and send runners through, and they haven't been able to do that tonight.
Fancy footwork from Clovis Simas on the right side. Out to Nate Hauser. A shot deflected into the goal by Sammy Akime. Will Sammy get the goal, or will Nate Hauser? Either way, it's a two-pointer. And Kansas City leads it 13-0 in the second quarter over Edmonton. Goal on the day, his 26th on the year, and Kansas City leads it 13-0.
Clovis Simas out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. You see some of the fancy footwork here. All that futsal experience. Good pass over to Nate Hauser, and he finishes the job from there.
And the first time I saw that, I thought maybe Sammy Akime got a foot on it, but Nate Hauser, in fact, put that ball right in the back of the net. That fancy footwork by Clovis is what allows some free space for some of his teammates to get open shots on goal, because he takes so many defenders to try to shut Clovis down.
And he is most effective when there are players around him in close and tight quarters.
Here's Eric Wilson playing it outside to Justin Cottrell, and they'll work it all the way back to the keeper. Kansas City leading the Edmonton Drillers 13-0 with 7:30 to play in the second period. I'm Nate Bucati, joined by Nick Vassos. Nice to have you with us for Attack Soccer today on a Saturday night. Nice to have you up in Edmonton as well.
Yeah, I would like to extend a special good day to our friends in Edmonton.
It's been a slow go, a rough go so far for the Drillers. They had an excellent game last night in St. Louis, beating the Ambush and helping Kansas City out a little bit in the division with an 18-10 win over the Ambush last night. Lester Felician scores for Kansas City. Lester took that one off the end board, off a pass from Nate Hauser, and now the 6th player for Kansas City to get into the act offensively.
Now Lester Felician, he is going to pick up his 7th goal of the season, and Lester, all he had to do was beat one person, that being the keeper. Paul Shepard and Ross Ongaro can't be too happy about what has transpired here so far this evening at Kemper. But obviously Zoran Savic very tickled right now as his club leads 15-0 over Edmonton. This is quite a surprise. The Drillers, very good club, but they're just not helping each other out defensively right now.
And I think I almost saw Zoran Savic crack his smile there.
No way.
On the bench for the Kansas City Attack. He knows better than that. 6:52 to play in the second period. The Attack in healthy command of this game. 15-0. Lester Felician, his 7th goal on the year. Nate Hauser, his 7th assist, and it comes at the 7:58 mark of the second period. Now ball goes way up into the stands, and Kansas City will have a goal kick to come back out the other way. Well, the Attack jumped up on the Drillers early here, and it's been all Kansas City ever since.
Yeah, it really has. And for the Attack, I mean, they have to make this 4-game homestand really count, because they're going to go back out on the road for 5 straight. So this game very important to the Attack, with the playoffs just kind of in the back of their mind. It's starting to creep into the players' mind right now as teams kind of position themselves for postseason play.
Eric Wilson charging on net, gets the ball around Shepard, but it just misses wide. Paul Shepard, the keeper, got a piece of that ball and just saved another goal for Kansas City.
And of course Edmonton, after tonight's game, they'll go home to play Harrisburg, and then they'll be back out on the road again. The Drillers finished with 14 of their last 21 on the road, Nate.
And that's really tough, and it's fortunate for them, or at least they did a good job of winning their games at home and taking care of business at home. 12-3 home record this year. That's why right now they are 5 games above 500 at 15-10, but still find themselves 4 games back in the standings to Milwaukee.
I tell you, the wave is tough this year.
Ball in the corner, Sipo Sabie trying to find an angle, and it's cleared out by Kansas City. Jeff Davis was able to get the ball out of the defensive side for the Attack. 4 players in the box for Kansas City defensively, and also you add in there Warren Westcoat. The Attack doing a great job staying behind the ball. Eric Wilson now dumps it inside for Kansas City. West Wade has it on the right side. This is defense from O'Neal Brown, and rolled it into the box, and it was cleared out of there by Todd Rattie. Warren Westcoat will play it right back into the near corner. Clovis Seamoff with his back to the goal. Working against Rattie, out to Alan Soso. Down goes Soso, and the Edmonton Drillers take it back. Sipo Sabie at the halfway line plays it back to Chris Hanser. We didn't see Chris on Thursday night, playing with a bad ankle, a bad groin right now. Hanser at the halfway line for the Drillers as they trail by 15 halfway through the second period. Actually 10 minutes into the second period now. Ball comes back into Kansas City territory, and off his line, Warren Westcoat. The ball bounces into the box, but Alan Soso clears it out. Now here's Kevin Holness. He'll roll a pass into the box. It's deflected away by Eric Wilson, and Kansas City clears it out with the foot of Alan Soso. Well, Edmonton has really not been able to maintain any kind of offensive pressure. Simply 5 shots on goal so far in the first half. That is well below their average on the season. They usually put about 35 shots on goal in one game. Their legs might be a little weary right now. You certainly won't have any of the Drillers player tell you that. Take a look at Justin Cottrell right there. Well, Kansas City leading at 15-0 with 4:22 to play in the first half.
Now, while you're watching this, Canadians are advancing science, setting records, defending the environment, teaching, working in the community, exploring, creating, inspiring, and representing Canada abroad. Every year, the Governor-General honors Canadians for volunteering, for exceptional deeds, and for lifetime achievement. But first, but someone has to nominate them. For more information or a nomination form, call 1-800-O-Canada.
Kansas City on top, 15-0 here in the first half, and the Attack right now with a 1-game lead and a chance to make up some more ground in the Midwest, Nick.
Yeah, the Attack with a win here will increase their lead in the Midwest to a 1.5 games. But the Wings tomorrow have to play in the toughest place in the league to play, and that's up in Milwaukee's Bradley Center, where the Wave are 90-10 over the last 100 games up there. Just an unbelievable record at home. The Wave dominate.
And last night, Milwaukee with 16,000 strong in terms of fan support. One of the biggest crowds we've ever seen in the NPSL. They have a lot of support, and they play extremely well in a nice facility. It's tough to win up there. Kansas City knows that. They were just there a couple of weeks ago and had it handed to them pretty strongly.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And of course, Edmonton in the same division as Milwaukee. The Drillers right now 15-10, yet they're 4 games behind the Wave, who stand at 20-7, the best record in all of the NPSL.
Heck, Milwaukee even has a winning record on the road at 8-6. Right now, the Attack in control of this one in the first half, 15-0. But in the NPSL, things can change quickly. So the Attack maintain the offensive pressure. Clovis Seamoss bounces one into the box, and Paul Shepard will flick it back downfield. Somehow that ball stayed in bounds.
I don't know how that went.
Carlos Olivas will play it upfield.
Right on the top of the dashboard. Going to get some funny hops in this game.
You know, you can lose a lot of cheap balls out of bounds here and get a bad restart if you lose the ball into the box, because the dasher boards don't have that plexiglass in front of the 2 benches. Edmonton on the attack, and this time stepping over it is Rick Titus. He just misfired on that shot.
Well, the Drillers just seem a little out of sync right now. They really haven't been able to put any sizable threats against Kansas City so far, as Sammy whistled for the foul there.
And that's something that you'll say quite often when you watch a Kansas City Attack game. Sammy Akime, one of the more physical players, has been whistled for 87 fouls coming into this game. That's far and away more than anybody else on this Attack team.
Sammy is going to break the record that he set last year for fouls at 112.
Sammy Akime is also the team captain, though. He comes to play every day, plays through injuries. He's been battling a sore knee all year long with some torn cartilage in that knee, but he's elected to play through the pain as opposed to undergoing surgery. He hopes to wait till the offseason to do that. Alan Sosa on the near dasher boards. He'll reverse things and play it back outside to Wes Wade. Wes Wade, of course, was the captain for the Attack. Had a small run-in with the head coach, Zoran Savic. Still made it to the All-Star game, though, and was the MVP of the All-Star game this year. Just no longer the captain of the Kansas City Attack. Sammy Akime holds that badge down. Eric Wilson inside the arc. He fires a shot, and he scores. Kansas City goal. 17-0. Eric Wilson, his 2nd goal on the game, his 7th on the year.
Well, Eric Wilson operating on the left side. All he did was take a look at the net, and he played it to the lower right corner. You can see him size up the keeper right here, takes a look, and then just hammers it to the lower right corner as Kansas City continues to just pour it on Edmonton.
For most of the year, Eric Wilson has been the kind of guy who usually looks to pass first and shoot second. It looked like the defender, Angelo Sestito, there maybe was expecting him to pass the ball there instead of fire the shot. Eric Wilson showing right there that he has the ability to score when he has the chance. Now Warren Westcote plays the ball over the plexiglass and into the stands. Kansas City Attack fans have had a lot to cheer about so far today. 1:52 to play in the first half, and the Attack lead at 17-0.
A lot of young faces on that Attack bench right there. Eric Wilson among them, just his 2nd year in the NPSL out of El Paso, Texas. Went to school at Drake University, where he played soccer collegiately there. And this is kind of a different team for the Kansas City Attack than in years past. A lot of the veterans are gone, so we're seeing a lot of young faces on this team, which has caused some inconsistent efforts over the course of the season.
Edmonton with a restart goal, and a shot by Vinovich misses off the dashboards, and a rebound just hits the crossbar by LeBaron Holloman. That's the way things have been going for Edmonton so far today.
Yep.
Well, the assist on that last goal goes to Alan Soso, his second on the day and his 5th on the year. Alan Soso's played some excellent soccer for Kansas City in his first year in the NPSL. He's second on the team in blocks, but he's also started to get into the act offensively for the Attack over the last couple of weeks.
He's got a pretty strong foot. He's got a couple of three-pointers. He is a threat from long range, but mostly he's a stay-at-home defender for the Attack.
Nicky Vinovich on the far side for the Drillers. Cuts through the ball, working against Clovis Simas. A redirection, misses by his older brother, Nebojsa Vinovich. Another good chance for the Drillers, but they haven't been able to come through. Nate Hauser at the other end touches the ball and stepped on top of it that time and almost tripped himself up. Here's Clovis at the top of the D. Clovis Simas touching the ball, shoots, scores, Kansas City goal. Second goal of the day for Clovis Simas, his 55th on the year.
Paul Shepard just cannot believe what is going on right now with the Edmonton Drillers. Clovis Simas, that good footwork there, stop and go, and from the left side, wow, made a couple of people fall down, and Shepard had absolutely no chance on that one.
Boy, Todd Rattie was just exposed right there by Clovis Simas, and Clovis' second goal tonight. He leads the NPSL in 2-point goals, and Paul Shepard, the goalkeeper for the Edmonton Drillers, came into this game with the second best points against average on the year. That might change when all is said and done here. 19-0 is our score with under a minute to play in the first half. Wes Wade gets the assist also, Nick. That's his second on the game, and Mr. Wes Wade is one of the best assist men in the NPSL right now. He has got 39 on the year. That's number 2 in the NPSL.
Well, it's all Kansas City right now, 19-0, and we'll see if we can hook up with Ross Ongaro. He's scheduled to join us just right at the end of the second quarter, and we'll get his thoughts on what in the world is going on with this club right now.
I'll tell you what, Nick, I'll let you ask all the questions. I don't know if I want to have to speak to Coach right now because he can't be too happy. Here's Alan Sosa with his shot that's redirected back outside, and that'll do it for the first half. It's all Kansas City through 2 quarters. 19-0 is our score. Clovis Simas a couple of goals, Eric Wilson a couple of goals, and 4 other members of the Attack have gotten into the scoring act. Wes Wade has a couple of assists today as well. 19-0 our score at halftime, Nick. It's all Kansas City.
No doubt about it, Nate. Everything just turning up roses for KC right now. You've got several players that are in the scoring column. You've got Clovis Simas with a couple of goals. Eric Wilson's got a couple of goals. Jeff Davis has a 3-pointer. Everything is going Kansas City's way right now, and Edmonton is just having a tough time defending the Attack right now. They really are allowing Kansas City too much space inside their defensive third. They're allowing Kansas City to turn and face the goal, which is giving them an opportunity to hammer one home.
Let's go down now to the sideline where Edmonton Drillers head coach Ross Ongaro is standing by. And coach, boy, just a tough first half so far.
Oh, it's a tough task for our boys, and you're measured by how you handle yourself in a tough situation, and we're definitely in a hole right now.
Coach, this is the 3rd game in 3 days for you guys. Has fatigue been a factor at all? You guys are obviously a fit team, but does that play a part in tonight's game at all?
Oh, we won't use any excuses, but I think if you don't sleep at night, it's pretty difficult to keep playing.
What do you have to do in the second half, Coach?
Score 20 points.
and shut out the other team. Coach, we appreciate the time. Best of luck in the second half.
Okay, thank you.
Edmonton Drillers head coach Ross Ongaro, simply put, they had to score 20 points as they're down by 19. All Kansas City so far in the first half. Just to get back into this thing, Kansas City had 6 guys get in the act offensively. 2 guys with 2 goals, Eric Wilson and Clovis Simas. Wes Wade with a couple of assists. All Kansas City in the first half.
Yeah, everything is going well for Kansas City, who are trying to win their 2nd in a row and try to put some space between them and Wichita, who is in 2nd place in the Midwest Division. And right now, Edmonton just trying to keep pace with the Milwaukee Wave, who's, boy, they have been playing great soccer.
Milwaukee Wave, the best team in the NPSL, hands down right now. Edmonton playing excellent soccer this year. They find themselves 4 games out of first place in their division. Kansas City on the other side is just at 500 at 12-12 this year, but they have a 1-game lead over Wichita. Kansas City can expand that tonight, and also, as you said, Wichita, a tough game tomorrow night. So KC really looking to take advantage of a 4-game homestand. This is the second of that home swing right now.
Well, right now it's all attack in the first half. We'll see what happens in the second half when you come back to Kansas City.
So we got to be very, very effective, and we've got to come out and just play the type of game that we need to play and not worry about anything else.
Coach, thanks for your time. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you, guys.
Zoran Savic of the Kansas City Attack. The attack all over the Drillers, and we'll bring you back to Kemper Arena after this.
You are watching Shaw TV.
My wife and I are headed to Edmonton for a holiday. We heard about this fabulous hotel called the Selkirk, and we just had to see it. 100 rooms of luxury and half with cold and hot running water. It's where all the sports teams stay, and the Selkirk even has a telephone in the lobby. We might have a drink in the bar. I hear it has a mirror from one end to the other. Come on, honey.
30 years ago, some visionary Edmontonians had a plan to create the finest living history museum, and Fort Edmonton Park was born. Today's Fort Edmonton is the result of donor dollars, not tax dollars being put to work. The plan to finish the fort is fantastic. Our current $5 million campaign will fund the Blatchford Field Air Hangar, the 1920s Midway, and the Selkirk Hotel. Join the growing list of corporate and individual donors. Donations can be made at any Alberta Treasury branch, Royal Bank of Canada, or at the address shown on the screen. Fort Edmonton Park is about families. It's about kids. It's about you. Support the fort.
A player 17 years old when he broke into the league. I believe that is the youngest player in NPSL history. Right now he's 18 years old. And let's take a look at the first half stats brought to you by Hardee's, where the food's the star. Take a look at the shots. Absolutely dominated by Kansas City, 26-5. Blocks, the Drillers with 5, KC with 1. Saves, obviously Shepherd's been a whole lot busier than Warren Westcote. All the stats bear out what the score does. 19-0.
Warren Westcote's had a lot of help from his defense, a lot of help from his friends the last couple of days. Got the win on Thursday against Edmonton and just had to save 4 shots in the process. Justin Cottrell sprays one over the goal, and it'll be a goal kick coming out for the Edmonton Drillers. Talking about Mirsad Zilic, who saw playing time just now to start the second half, had a couple of 2-point goals in that loss against Buffalo last weekend, a 1-point loss for Kansas City, but Mirsad kind of a breakout game for him.
Yeah, no doubt about it. By the way, the halftime stats were brought to you by Vanguard Airlines, not Hardee's, but Vanguard Airlines, where you can book online at www.flyvanguard.com.
But our thanks to Hardee's as well. Edmonton has the ball in the midfield right now. And Holness, actually, O'Neal Brown plays it down the near side to Sipo Sabie, where it's taken back by Kansas City. But it goes all the way down to the goalkeeper, Paul Shepard. He'll start the offense for the Drillers. Up to the halfway line to Chris Hanser. Hanser faces a double team on the far boards by Carlos Olivas and Jeff Davis. Somehow Hanser gets away from it, but Lester Felician takes it away. Up to Olivas. Shot misses over the top of the goal. Headed in there by Lester Felician. Goal Kansas City. Second goal of the day, Lester, his 8th on the year. And the attack start off the third quarter right where they left off at the end of the half.
Carlos Olivas, first shot comes off the glass just above the plexiglass, and Lester Felician rising up like a salmon out of a river to peanut that one into the goal past Paul Shepard, and Kansas City has scored 11 straight to take a 21-0 lead over the Drillers.
Olivas' 12th assist on the year. Everybody getting in the act offensively. 3 players for Kansas City now have 2 goals on the day. 6 guys have scored in attack uniforms. Here's a diving save by Warren Westcote at the other end. He's had a solid game as well, pitching a shutout through the first 2 frames. And Warren Westcote, as we talked about in the first half, Nick, very solid with the feet. He'll start the offense for the attack.
4 saves on the night, and on Thursday when these 2 teams hooked up here at Kemper Arena, he stopped 4 of 11 to pick up his 12th win of the year.
Well, whatever Zoran Savic said to keep his guys focused in the locker room, it seems to have paid off as they come up with the first goal of the second half. 11:15 mark of the half. Kansas City on top, 21. I'm sorry, the 1:15 mark of the half. I thought that was a little wrong. 21-0 is the score. 1:15 into the third quarter. Kansas City gets the goal. Alan Soso has a restart just beyond the halfway line. He'll play it over to Jeff Davis in the referee's crease. And Jeff knifes it through to Jamie Harrigan, who is playing for the first time today. Well, attack fans know Jamie Harrigan was forced to take a little haircut last weekend. He used to have the big floppy hair. He said it took him 2 years to grow those locks out. It's all gone now.
Well, of course, his teammates, and Jamie just turned 21 recently, and his teammates have to get into the act, have to give them their own special birthday present. And that new shaved look there on Jamie Harrigan's head, that's the result of his birthday present from the Kansas City Attackers.
Another one of the young guys,
Zarnicki.
Mike Zarnicki, called for a foul, sets up a restart for Edmonton, and a shot by Vinovich is punched away by Warren Westcote.
Spectacular save by Westcote, diving far to his left, full extension.
Now a ball in the box. Here's Vinovich again, turns, pokes it toward the end boards, and Kansas City will pick up a foul against Carmen D'Onofrio. Another nice save by Warren Westcote, and the attack faced probably the most dangerous offensive threat by Edmonton all game right there.
Yeah, very few chances for Edmonton, and Warren Westcote, we talk about how steady he is, just a steady Eddie out on the floor. He can make the exceptional save just like he did right there.
Well, now everybody that on Kansas City's active roster played. We had scratches before the game of Steve Summers and Novi Marjevich. Those guys won't play today. Everybody else on the attack bench has seen some playing time now. And Kansas City will have a restart on the far side. Nate Hauser directs the offense. Wes Wade comes out of off the bench actually to play it out to Alan Soso, now to Jeff Davis. And he'll play it back to Soso, and the restart kind of ineffective right there for Kansas City, but they do lead at 21-0. 11:45 left in the third period.
Out 2 shots to none. Kansas City leading in this third quarter in that department. And they have done a great job so far over the game, out shooting Edmonton 28-5.
Warren Westcote took a shot on Thursday that found its way to the goal. Paul Shepard had to make a save on it. That was Thursday. This time he only walks out to the halfway line, but he does have 10 assists this year. Warren Westcote, the keeper for Kansas City, is an offensive weapon as well. Kansas City with possession on the far side. A nice spin move by Carlos Olivas to Nate Hauser. A shot and a nice save by Paul Shepard to direct that ball away from the goal mouth. Justin Cottrell at the halfway line for Kansas City will work it back to Warren Westcote. And back to Cottrell. He plays it down the near side off the boards. Back to the halfway line, taken back by the Drillers there. Shane Campbell with it. And back to Kevin Holness. He'll play it down the near side to a charging LeBaron Holloman, and he goes down. And a foul will be called on Justin Cottrell.
Justin Cottrell, 20 years old, local product here from Independence, Missouri. Joined the attack out of Blue Springs South High School here in Kansas City.
Now here's Nicky Vinovich touching it to his right. A nice slide tackle by Clovis Simas, and the attack come out on the counter. Nice slide tackle back by Angelo Sestito to take it back for the Drillers. And here he comes with a shot off the inboard, and it bounces back outside. Carlos Olivas with it for Kansas City. Loses it right back to Nebosha Vinovich. Battle for possession ensues at the halfway line. There's Nebosha again. Up to his brother Nikola, back to Nebosha. It's taken by Eric Wilson of Kansas City. Christian Leva, that's another young guy whose name we haven't mentioned much today. He's seeing his first playing time of the game in the second half. And he's going to be called for a foul.
Just the third game for Christian Leva, another local product out of Park College here in Kansas City.
A lot of the younger guys on this team are local guys. Justin Cottrell, Christian Leva, Mike Zarnicki out of Bishop Miege, Jamie Harrigan out of Shawnee Mission East.
Carlos Olivas.
Kansas City, Kansas guy out of Turner High School.
When you talk about Edmonton, they have one American-born player on their squad, and that's LeBaron Holloman. Otherwise, got a couple of guys from South Africa, a lot of players from Canada. Paul Daly from Scotland.
A couple of guys from Belgrade, Yugoslavia. Of course, Nicky Vinovich and his brother Nebosha. But you're right, most of the guys from Edmonton, hometown guys as well, out of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Restart for Kansas City. Jeff Davis on the near side as the attack had a 21-point lead over the visitors from Edmonton, who are on their last leg of a 5-game road trip. Scrum for the ball in the corner. Mirsad Zilic punches it off the boards, and it comes out to the keeper, Paul Shepard.
Well, we heard at halftime Ross Ongaro talk about not using fatigue as an excuse, but you could really see it in the legs of the players. They just haven't been able to get back defensively and haven't been able to get their offense going, which really is all about running.
One step slower to the ball on the passes and on the defense. And we've got a foul called, I believe, against the Drillers here. So Kansas City will restart it from their yellow line. Quickly, Warren Westcote plays it to Jeff Davis. Yeah, Coach Ongaro's not going to use fatigue as a factor, but you and I both know what it's like on the road in the NPSL, and it is a factor. Coaches obviously can't allow their players to allow that to creep into their mind, but you're kidding yourself if you don't think that plays a part in it. Also, not only the travel, but just the fact of playing 3 games in 3 days can wear you down.
It's tough. Every team in the NPSL has to go through that. Every team will have to play 3 games in 3 days, 3 separate times over the course of a season.
Kansas City maintaining that offensive pressure, the ball in Edmonton territory, and Kansas City will take it back to the halfway line. Sammy Akime, the captain, plays it up to Nate Hauser. Now Hauser turns and fires and just misses over the crossbar. Sammy Akime with a shot. It misses wide. And Jamie Harrigan punches one toward the corner. Edmonton still trying to get it out of the box. Paul Shepard will punch it back out. If you're wondering why Paul didn't pick that up with his hands, in the NPSL this year, a new rule, you can't do that if your own teammate plays it back to you with his feet. Now Justin Cottrell will play to the corner for Nate Hauser. Hauser with the 2 goals today. He turns toward the box, and down he goes. Play on, says the official. Jamie Harrigan in the far corner, working for the ball. He gets it into the box. Carlos Olivas, Jamie Harrigan again with a shot, and it's kicked away by Paul Shepard.
Now the Drillers were late to get back there defensively. Kansas City had a 3-on-none with the keeper, and Olivas just whacked it right into Shepard.
The attack change up, and Warren Westcote plays it down to the fresh Clovis Simas. Clovis with his back to the goal will east-west the ball to Eric Wilson. He bangs it off the boards to Carlos Olivas, who tried for a give and go, but it was taken back by Kevin Holness of the Drillers, and down the field he comes. pivoting on the ball, working against 3 attack defenders, gets himself some space. Here comes Holness. Plays it to the far side to O'Neal Brown, and he has to slow down to corral the pass. Nice footwork by Holness in the midfield, though, to create some space there.
There's that first pass that goes right to the top of the D. That's how Edmonton likes to run their offense. Play the ball into the middle, and then the forwards, where the defenders will make runs on either side of them, just kind of a give and go. And it's that second ball that's very important for Edmonton in order for their offense to get clicking.
Well, the Drillers changing lines up right there, and the ball bounced into the open box. Kansas City continues to dominate this game, 21-0 with 6:22 to play in the third period. At this point, Kevin Zimmerman will come in to try to close the deal for Kansas City. He's got that new gold dome, I guess you could call it, dyed the hair blonde, and alongside his teammate Justin Cottrell, both those guys with new haircuts. He said the team had lost 4 games in a row, and he wanted to change things up a little bit, so maybe he can take credit for the fact that the attack had stopped that losing streak with a win on Thursday and looked to make it 2 wins in a row tonight.
Well, maybe the trend is beginning to grow as we take a look at the dome of Justin Cottrell.
6:08 left in the third period. That man we were talking about, Wild West Wade, will restart it for Kansas City. Jeff Davis fires his shot and misses it wide.
Kevin Zimmerman has played in, this is his 18th game that he's played in. He has yet to make a start so far this year. He has a points against average of 37. And in 97-98, when he broke in, he was the rookie goalkeeper of the year.
Well, the attack just fired 3 shots consecutively on goal. Harrigan and Zarnicki both missing the target, but the attack lead it 21-0, 5:47 left in the third. Comes Edmonton at the other side. Nate Hauser with a nice block. Ball rolls into the arms of Kevin Zimmerman, freshly on for Kansas City. The attack's backup goalkeeper set a record earlier this year with stopping 6 shootout goals in a loss against Wichita.
He's been the shootout specialist for the attack this season and has done a pretty good job of it so far.
Here's Rati working against Mirsad Zilic, and Mirsad takes it back for Kansas City. And Nate Hauser up the field. And Clovis Simas, who's got a couple of goals and an assist today for Kansas City. To Carlos Olivas, to Nate Hauser, to shot deflected away by Rati. Back to Nate Hauser, and he misfires on this one. Had an open mouth on the goal, but hit the crossbar. Nice pass from Clovis Simas that time. And now we've got a blue card that comes out. Maybe a frustration foul on Rick Titus as he sends Sammy Akime to the floor, and we hope Sammy's okay.
Well, this NPSL game is very physical, and Rick Titus is the enforcer. And Sammy's left knee gets tangled up from underneath him. And Sammy's knees are already bad, and he looks like he's in some serious pain. Boy, that would be a big blow for Kansas City if Sammy goes down with a knee injury.
And it looks like Titus is going to be booked for 5 minutes now, too. He got into a verbal exchange with Nate Hauser, one of the veterans and enforcers for Kansas City. As Nate was sticking up for his teammate, he feels like Sammy might have been cheap-shotted right there a little bit, possibly, but it's going to lead to a shootout goal chance for Clovis Simas and a one-man advantage for Kansas City. And Nate Hauser and Rick Titus getting into a little verbal exchange as Titus was on his way to the box. Well, Nate Hauser and a little pushing and shoving also, Nick, as Rick Titus goes off to the box. Nate Hauser is a guy who always stands up for some of the guys on his team. Sammy Akime being helped up on the far side and going to walk off under his own power. But like you said, struggling with that cartilage in his knee. That's a scary sight for attack fans when they see him go down like that.
Yeah, he's the club's team captain. He's an emotional leader on this team, and he's a great defender, and the attack certainly need him if they're going to hang on to their first place lead in the Midwest.
Well, Nate Hauser's not going to receive a penalty here, but he gets a stern talking to by the official and say, hey, keep your wits about things here. Let's not get anything out of control. So Nate Hauser doesn't face a penalty here. Nate is going to talk to some of the guys on the bench. Clovis Simas with a shootout opportunity. Touches it to his left, and he misses on the shot. Shepard pounces on top of it. So Clovis can't come through on the one-point shootout goal. That would have been worth 1 point, but Kansas City does now have a one-man advantage for the next 2 minutes. On the foul to Rick Titus. Kansas City on the power play this year, converting on 36%, just below the league average of 37.2%. And they'll start with a restart at the yellow line. Wes Wade and Jeff Davis will stand behind.
Well, the Drillers, as far as penalty killing, a little bit below the league average at 59% in penalty killing. That puts them in the bottom third of the league.
Nick, I believe Titus might have been ejected from the facility because I see Sipo Sabie come over to take his place here in the near box, in the penalty box. We'll check on that and make sure for you on the restart. Both guys are in the box. And on the restart, Kansas City fires the ball over the plexiglass. It'll be a goal kick coming out for Edmonton.
And a new keeper in there for Edmonton.
And the reason that Sabie came over, because it'll be a 5-minute misconduct that goes to Edmonton, to Rick Titus, so he can't come out after the one-man advantage for 2 minutes. That means Sabie will sit in the box. When the 2 minutes expires, he will be able to charge off onto the field for Titus, who has to stay in there for 3 more minutes. 4:14 to play in the third period. The attack all over the Drillers, 21-0 right now.
Jim Larkin is the new keeper for Edmonton. New in a lot of ways, not only in this game, but he's new to the lineup. He comes over from the Canadian Olympic team. This will be his first indoor soccer action that he has seen.
He arrived with the team Thursday night here in Kansas City, but like you said, his first action with the club comes tonight as his team is down 21-0. Well, that's not much pressure, I guess, to be thrown into the fire like that. Clovis Simas has it for Kansas City. Lays it out to Jeff Davis, and the attack will patiently work it around the perimeter.
Man advantage for another 45 seconds. The attack certainly in no hurry, up by 21.
Titus was given the 2-minute penalty for tripping, then the 5-minute misconduct on top of that, so that's why we see Sabie in the box also, as we said. And the Drillers will clear it back outside, and Jeff Davis has it for Kansas City over to Wes Wade. Just 30 seconds left on the power play. Kansas City not really looking to fire too many shots here, as they already find themselves with a 21-point lead, maybe doing the sportsmanlike thing and working the ball around the perimeter and trying to establish and display some good passing. Holmes has it for the Drillers at the halfway line, up to the far side to Campbell. He'll roll one off the boards, and O'Neal with a shot that's knocked away by Wes Wade. Nice defense by Wild West.
Yeah, great defense there by Wes, who's I believe he's moved to the back. Wes, one of the more versatile players on this Kansas City attack club. He's playing defender right now. Earlier in the game, he was playing up top.
And the penalty has been killed. Sabie comes off for Edmonton, or comes on for Edmonton, I should say, as the 2-minute penalty has expired. 2:20 to play in the third period, but of course Rick Titus will still be in the box. Drillers with the ball. Angelo Sestito plays it over to LeBaron Holloman, and up to Chris Hanser. He brings it across toward the yellow line. Back out to Holloman. Now into the corner to Hanser again. And we've got a whistle and a push in the back called on Hanser.
We're getting to the point of the game right now, Nate, when it gets late. Obviously, this game is out of reach for Edmonton. Kansas City has it well in hand right now. And you certainly don't want to get into a situation where a player gets injured. You're trying to keep everybody healthy here for the last quarter of this game. We're under 2 minutes to play in the third.
And that may be one of the things that was scary about seeing Sammy Akime go down earlier, but he is out there right now for the attack. And the guy doesn't even wear any knee braces, despite the fact that he's been struggling with some bad knees all year long.
And think about Edmonton. They certainly can't afford any more injuries than they've already got right now. You talk about Paul Daly. His ankle sprain is considered maybe a little bit worse than originally expected. And also Martin Dugas, he is out for the season. That's a big blow for them. We talked about him earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Going down to the All-Star game with the MCL injury. As we said, this guy was the leading scorer, 97-98. It can really use an extra attacker offensively right now. So Edmonton's going to have to try to find some extra offense from some other guys as they head back home. They're going to be happy to have a home game and have a few days off after this one. On the restart, Vinovich directing traffic, chips it over the defense. Sabie whiffs on the shot, and Sammy Akime knocks it back outside. Just over a minute left in the third quarter. Kansas City all over the Drillers, 21-0. Well, I wonder when the last time, if ever, the Drillers have been shut out in a ball game.
I was just thinking about that, Nate. I don't believe that they have been shut out in their history. Of course, this franchise dates all the way back to the days in Chicago when the Power played in the Windy City. This is the 4th year that the franchise has been back in Edmonton. The old North American Soccer League had the Drillers playing there in the 80s.
Now on a restart, Eric Wilson deflects the ball toward the post, and then Reti fires a shot, and he scores for the Drillers, so no more shutout talk. Todd Reti gets the 3-point goal for Edmonton to get off the schneid. 21-3 is the score with 1:02. Actually, they're going to call it looks like they're going to call it a 2-pointer.
That was very close to being a trifecta right there.
It is a 3 now. They change it on the scoreboard.
Oh, no question about it. Reti behind the line. And for Todd Reti, that's his 8th goal of the season. He now has 28 points on the year. Reti with 67 blocks as well.
And his 4th 3-point goal on the season. He beat Kevin Zimmerman to the bottom near post. And his score is 21-3. The attack on top of the Drillers. 45 seconds left in the third quarter. Drillers on the attack again. Here's Holloman working against Lester Felician. He'll play it back outside to Nicky Vinovich. Vinovich rolls it into the box and right past 2 oncoming Drillers, and both guys whiffed on the ball.
That was D'Onofrio and Kurt Botch.
Exactly. And here comes Lester Felician up the far side. Drillers take it back. Nicky Vinovich touches his way around Eric Wilson and plays it downfield. Wilson this time gets the steal. And back comes Kansas City. 10 seconds left in the quarter. Lester Felician into the box and taken back by Campbell. And 5 seconds left in the quarter. That'll do it for the third frame. Kansas City gets 1 goal. Edmonton gets their first goal of the game. Todd Reti, a 3-pointer to make the score at the end of 3. 21-3, the attack on the Drillers. Back with the fourth quarter right after this.
Unbelievable statistic. A lot of smiles on the faces of the Kansas City players. As you take a look at the shots on goal right there, first and second quarters. Just absolute domination by the attack.
And a good chance for Kansas City to get some experience to some of its younger players, especially a guy like Kevin Zimmerman in goal, because what if Warren Westcoat goes down sometime? Zimmer will have some experience to go into the game with.
Here comes Holness across the box, and the Drillers score! Chris Hanser tickles the twine for the Drillers. They got 5 points, but maybe a little too late for Edmonton.
Edmonton getting back-to-back goals. Nice 3-man passing right here with the triangle, and Kansas City connected on a couple of goals like that earlier. Hanser obviously not too excited as his team still trails at 21-5. One thing to be encouraged about, though, for the Drillers is they're not giving up. They're not just going to quit on this ball game, as there's still 14 minutes and 42 seconds left to play. Chris Hanser with the goal on the year. He now has 10
goals for Chris Hanser, the all-star for the Edmonton Drillers. Jeff Davis didn't want to do it, but he did. Knocked it out of bounds. Restart coming up to the Drillers. Jeff Davis having a career year. That's what Zoran Savic needs from a lot of these players this year. The likes of Kevin Ketters, John Perry, no longer back with the club. We're counting on some younger faces, and obviously Davis, one of the veterans, has really stepped up his game along with Nate Hauser. And of course, the biggest surprise of all has been Clovis Simas, who has just been unbelievable for the attack this season.
Sipo Sabie got the assist on that, his 4th on the year. That goal coming just 18 seconds into the fourth quarter, Nick.
Here's Lester Felician chipping it across to the far side on the volley. Olivas hammered it off the boards. Harkin is there. Gretchen Larkin is there. He's up and throwing to midfield. Moisha with a header. Davis comes up with it for the attack. 13:42 left to play in this game. 21-5 attack. The attack hang on here. They'll be 4-0 against the Drillers. Here's Leva over to Zarnicki. Shoots! Score! Well, Zarnicki looked like he had his first goal as a professional. I believe they're going to end up giving that one to Jamie Harrigan.
Yeah, Harrigan on the rebound. That ball hit the crossbar. Zarnicki did a nice job of firing this shot away. A great pass from Chris Leiva. Right from the elbow, Zarnicki with a one-touch shot. And boy, that's tough. Just hits the crossbar. Jamie Harrigan, though, in the right place at the right time to take that one off the glass and put it in the back of the net.
Well, Zarnicki's going to pick up his 4th assist. Still looking for that first goal as a professional. Jamie Harrigan nets his 6th of the season as Kansas City now leads 23-5.
3 young players right there who didn't see any playing time in the first half. Zarnicki, Leiva, and Harrigan combining on that goal. And I think it was all set up by that great pass by Chris Leiva.
No question about it. Down the right wing corner, Kurt Bosch with a header, and Zimmerman got a piece of it just at the last minute. Deflected it up and over the glass, and that'll result in a corner kick coming up to the Drillers.
Well, Kansas City had kind of taken it easy on the Drillers toward the end of the third quarter there, just working the ball around and not trying to score too much. After the Drillers put in back-to-back goals, Kansas City comes back on the offensive attack.
Well, the Drillers have come out strong here in the fourth quarter. Trailing by a sizable lead, Ross Ongaro has really ignited his club, and they have come out running strong here in the final frame. Restart to Vinovich, hammers that one wide, comes off to midfield. Petit is back there, plays it over to Larkin. Keeper boots it into the left wing corner, that one off the glass. Hanser and D'Onofrio in the area, but Zilich is there for the attack to knock it away. Drillers hang on to it. Here's Botch leaving it for Hanser. Hanser marked by Zilich. Mearside strong on the ball, wins the ball away and knocks it back across the half line.
Just guaranteed so.
I don't think Kansas City getting some extra energy from those young guys who didn't play in the first half.
Now a steal by Clovis. Here's Seamas trying to chip the keeper, and it goes up and over the glass. Goal kick coming up to the Edmonton Drillers.
Clovis Seamas is so creative. I think that's one of the things that he brings to this team. You know, he grew up playing on the streets of Brazil and playing in all kinds of conditions on the street corners and backyards. He told me, he said, look, it's not that hard to adjust to the indoor soccer game because I've been playing creative soccer my whole life, and right there just tried to chip the ball on the right over the keeper. That's kind of an interesting move as well from the yellow line.
Rick Titus out of the box. Here's Soso into the right wing corner, comes off the boards. Campbell and Wilson battle for it. Soso will pick it up. He has such a wide variety of shots, Nate. I mean, he's not one of those players like Jeff Davis who has a very, very hard shot. Clovis has a variety. He has what's called the hard toe, and he's very accurate with his shots as well.
He doesn't need to wind up on his shot. I think that's what makes him so different from Jeff. Jeff likes to wind up on a shot from a long way away. Clovis likes to just work with the ball and get himself as close to the goal and then place it around the keeper. He only has 1 3-point goal on the year. He was going for one right there, but he didn't do it by trying to blast it past the goalie, tried to chip it over his head. That's kind of the difference in style that you see from those two guys.
Great indication just how many 2-point goals Clovis has. He only has 1 3-pointer, so that kind of tells you what kind of player he is. 11.5 to play in this one. The attack 23, Edmonton 5. Nate Buchanan, Nick Vassos with you here from Kemper Arena in Kansas City. Glad you could be with us tonight on Shaw and Metro Sports. Here's Alan Soso. He fires from 3. Save is made by Jim Larkin. Playing in his first indoor game. Now Sabille fires, and the Drillers get a goal. Sipo Sabille scores for Edmonton, and the Drillers now have 7 points.
Kansas City falling asleep a little bit defensively right here. Jeff Davis is beaten on the pass as he just misjudged it a little bit. That left Sabille open, and he beats Zimmer, who tries to cut off the angle, but the ball goes right below him. On the other side, Alan Soso with a strong left-footed shot and a great save by the newcomer, Mr. Larkin, with a diving save there to knock the ball away.
Sipo Sabille, 19th goal this season. Sipo now with 41 points on the year. And the Drillers have got 7 points. 11 minutes to play in this one. The attack out shooting Edmonton 32-12. Here's Hanser with a shot from 3, and Zimmerman. Zimmerman makes the save. Zimmerman lays it on the carpet. Plays it to Cottrell, and he knocked that one out of bounds.
Nikola Vinovich got the assist for the Drillers. This guy continues to climb the charts. He's in the top 5 in the NPSL in points scored on the year. Vinovich came in with 38 assists, so he gets his 37th today. I'm sorry, 39th today.
Armand D'Onofrio went down, and he gets up slow. Meanwhile, the attack worked it down. Larkin is there. Catches the ball on the fly. They'll send it long. That's a 3-line pass. Didn't want to do it, but he did. The attack will get the ball 50 feet away, right on the yellow line, front and center.
There's a guy who hasn't played a whole lot of indoor soccer. That 3-line pass, something that you get more accustomed to as you play the game. You can't pass the ball 3 lines in the air.
Davis with a 3-point attempt, rejected by the Drillers' defense. Angelo Sestito over the back of JD, and he's called for the foul. The attack with a win would improve to 13-12. The Drillers, if things hold out like they are right now, would fall to 15-11.
Well, Kansas City just came off a 5-game road trip of their own where they were just 1-4 on that trip. And as you and I both said, Nick, they had to take advantage of this homestand. So it looks like they're going to start off with 2 wins in a row, then 2 more home games next weekend against Harrisburg and Philadelphia. So Kansas City could come away with 3 wins out of the 4 games. I think they feel pretty good about that.
And then they go right back out on the road for 5 straight, and hopefully they'll have a little bit better performance than they did on the recent road trip. We're over the halfway point of the NPSL season. 44 games during the regular season. 2 more home games and 2 more away games this season for the 12 NPSL clubs. Everyone kind of starting to peek and take a look at postseason right now. And if the playoffs were to begin today, Milwaukee would have the top seed. Edmonton would be the 2nd seed. Kansas City would be the 3rd seed. And Wichita would be the 4th seed. That one nearly went in. Comes off to the near side. Sammy is there. Plays it back to Kevin Zimmerman. The attack in no hurry here, just looking to burn a little clock with a sizable lead over the Drillers. Zimmerman sends it long. Here's Seamas. Walking in towards Larkin. Drillers get it away. Here comes Nicky Vinovich. Nicky over the far side. Attack double team. Send it over to Ratti. 8.5 to play. Here's Kevin Holness. Down the right wing corner. Shot off the boards. Clovis clears it for Kansas City. Hauser picks it up for the attack, but Hanser is there. Now Sammy steps in front of Hanser. Comes up with the ball. Clovis trying to advance it. Knocked away, and Edmonton comes back up with it. Kansas City 23, Edmonton 7. It's been all attack from the get-go. They scored 11 straight goals. The Drillers didn't get on the board until the 3rd quarter. Now Wilson with a shot. Larkin is there. He boots it back out away from the net. Cottrell trying to win the ball. Sabi over the back of him. No call. Here's Olivas. In the middle to Clovis Seamas. Seamas moving left. Shoots with his left. That one off the inboards. Nearly got that one in. Certainly did some work on the defender there. Here's Hanser. Sends it forward to Sipo. Zimmerman comes off his line to send it back to the center circle. Eric Wilson knocked to the ground by Chris Hanser. And Wilson draws the foul.
Well, Clovis Seamas' ability to play with the ball from a direct standstill, he's able to somehow create some space against an opponent. That's really hard to do. You know, if you're moving at full speed, you have the chance to maybe pivot and change the momentum of the defender. But he's got a defender marking him directly on, and he's in a standstill position. He's able to somehow juke a defender and get a shot on goal. Makes him very tough to guard.
Larkin sends it long to D'Onofrio. D'Onofrio was shaken up a little while ago, but he's back on the field. That's good news for Edmonton fans. As I mentioned, D'Onofrio has done the most damage in 3 previous meetings against Kansas City. D'Onofrio with a dozen points. Nicky Vinovich has been held to just 7. Now Zarnicki. Down to Olivas. Zarnicki lost it. Larkin comes up and sends it to the half line. Now Cottrell. Both these teams just playing out the final 6 minutes of this game.
And I think the officials trying to let them just play out the final 6 minutes of this game also. I don't think they're going to be calling too many touchy fouls here, as they know that the outcome to this game has already been determined. Kansas City on top 23-7. Both teams, as you said, just working for that final whistle.
Nicky Vinovich up top holding his arms up, calling for the ball. Now LeBaron Holloman will east-wested to the near side of Vinovich. Christian Leyva comes up. He gets the steal. Here's Leyva down the right side. Leyva shoots. Save. Larkin. Rebound came back to Leyva. Couldn't handle it. Meanwhile, Larkin sends it up to midfield, and Kevin Zimmerman way off his line to knock it back in. Not the slightest amount of hesitation on Zimmerman's part that time. As soon as he saw the ball, he thought he could beat D'Onofrio to it. It's a big gamble. You've got to get there first as a keeper if you're going to do that, and he did. So a nice aggressive move. I think the one thing the coach will say is just don't show any hesitation. If you're going to make a move like that, go for the ball 100%. If you're going to make a mistake, make it aggressively, and that's what Zimmerman did not make a mistake. He made the right move right there. Kevin Zimmerman broke into the league in 97-98. That season he was the NPSL's rookie goalkeeper of the year. Warren Westcoat the next year was injured, and Zimmerman saw a lot of playing time during that stretch run. Here's Zilic from the top of the box. Had a chance, but it rolls through. Sammy plays it back to near side. Rebound. Now here comes Hanser. Chris Hanser inside the three-point arc, trying to move to his right. Jeff Davis steps in and swipes the ball away. The best thing Jeff did right there was cut off the angle so Hanser didn't have a pass or a shot on goal. They work on that all the time in practice. JD, the veteran, nice job positioning himself defensively. Here's Kevin Holness with the ball. Holness, Kingston, Jamaica native. Played it back to Sipo Sapie. Now back to Holness. Holness broke into the league in 96-97. Now to Hanser. Here's Rati with a shot stuffed by the attack defense. Launch back to the half line. Here's Hauser. Hauser on the right side. O'Neal Brown in his hip pocket. Hauser shoots, and that one just above the crossbar. Comes off to the far side. Cottrell and Hanser battling over on the dasher boards. And now some roughhouse extracurricular stuff between Hanser and Justin Cottrell. Well, both guys a little pushing and pulling as they both went tumbling for the ball, and then Cottrell springs up a little frustration and a shove, and Zoran Savic always wants to keep his guys calm and cool and collected. I mean, you're up 23-7. No reason to put a sour note to the end of this game with only 4 minutes left. Here's Olivas in the corner. The T with a mark on him. Kansas City will back it out, play it all the way back to Zimmerman, who came in for Westcoat with about 6 minutes left in the third quarter. Kevin Zimmerman has been wondering when he's going to see some extensive playing time, and he is seeing it tonight. Well, the way Warren Westcoat plays, it's awful tough, though, especially when you're in the middle of a race. Not that Zimmer's not a capable keeper, it's just Warren Westcoat's a guy that has played excellent in his entire career. Wilson on the right wing, crossed into the middle, but picked off there by Sapie. Now to Vinovich. Nicky sends it high into the air to Sipo. Sipo on the volley, and it just went wide. Now Vinovich. Here's Nicky. Fires it into the middle, but that one blocked by the attack. Edmonton just can't seem to get anything going. Here's Kurt Botch on the right side. Botch fires, saves Zimmerman. And you can see some of the frustration right now on the Drillers players. Well, we said that both teams are playing for the whistle, but both teams really are still trying to score some goals out there. They're not taking anything for granted. 3 minutes left. A lot of pride out there on the field as well, Nick, and these two teams both want to finish this game strongly. No question about it. Here's Olivas to Soso with some open space. Here comes Alan Soso for the attack. Soso trying to knife a pass into Wilson. He got it through. Wilson, after coming off the boards, launched it up into the seats, and a fan making a good save right there. And it's break time. 2:45 left in the fourth quarter. Kansas City all over Edmonton. He ran into Christian Leva, and a foul is going to be charged against Kansas City.
Leva, Harrigan, and Zarnicki have all seen a lot of playing time here in the second half.
In the middle it goes, off the foot of Shane Campbell, but Sammy launched it back to midfield. Campbell is back there for the Drillers. Now Holloman. Into Larkin.
Edmonton really doesn't have any extra bodies they can throw out there either. They've had to use all of the guys that they've brought on the trip depleted with 3 men out of the lineup right now. We talked about it before, but Paul Daly, Martin Dugas, and Alfredo Valente all gone for Edmonton right now because of injuries. And Valente playing with the Canadian national team right now. It's been difficult for Edmonton, especially when they're on the road like that. It'd be nice to have some extra bodies out there to maybe defer or to spread out a little bit some of the attrition that's gone on over the past few weeks.
And this is the third game in 3 days for the Drillers. It'd be nice for Ross Ongaro and his troops to get back home in Edmonton. Play Harrisburg coming up next. Here's Ratti in the corner with Zarnicki. Coming up on a minute to play. Ball sent long to Zimmerman. Kevin Zimmerman logging some playing time here tonight. Third-year pro. From the half line, he boots it into the corner.
Well, the Drillers are obviously, we all know, a much better team than this. The third best record in the NPSL to this point in the season. Just wasn't their day today at Kemper Arena. That's the kind of thing that'll happen to you sometimes in the NPSL. The attack came, they were ready to play. The Drillers weren't quite ready to go today, but they have a week to regroup to head into Harrisburg, well, to head home and face Harrisburg.
Kansas City will take on Harrisburg next as well. They'll play Harrisburg Wednesday morning at 10:35. School day, if you will, here at Kemper.
Businessman special, maybe.
That's right. And then they'll wrap up the 4-game homestand with a match against the Philadelphia Kicks. Restart coming up to the Drillers. 20 seconds to play. Here's Vinovich into the middle. Soso dives down to block it. Ratti and Vinovich playing catch with it up top. Here's Nicky with 7 seconds on the clock. Kansas City will improve to 13 and 12. The Edmonton Drillers fall to 15 and 11. And that's it. Kansas City over Edmonton. Final score 23-7. The Attack increased their lead in first place in the Midwest Division to a game and a half. The Edmonton Drillers fall to 4.5 games behind North Division leading Milwaukee.
And for Edmonton, what a long, strange trip it's been maybe over the past week. 5 games on the road, a long bus ride all the way from Cleveland to Kansas City on Thursday, then a bus ride to St. Louis yesterday, bus ride back to Kansas City today. They get to go home and sleep in their own beds tonight. They'll be happy about that. Not too happy about the outcome of today's game, though.
Now the Attack score 11 straight and go on to win it 23-7. We'll bring you back to Kemper after this. Here at Kemper Arena, 23-7, and time for our Play of the Game, brought to you by Apple Market. I believe we're going to go to the first quarter for this one, Nate Dogg.
That's exactly right, Nick. First quarter, Clovis Simas' first of 2 goals on the day. Jukes 2 defenders, falls to the ground once, pops back up, and then places it top shelf over Paul Shepard. Second goal of the game for Kansas City to make it 4-0 at that point. And Clovis Simas helping to set the tone. He was playing with the flu today, playing hurt, if you will, and he was able to get it done for Kansas City.
A lot of stars for the Attack as they improve to 13 and 12. Final score, Kansas City 23, Edmonton 7. We'll bring you back to Kemper after this. The Attack winners tonight here at Kemper Arena, 23-7. The Attack dominated from the get-go. And, boy, they ran away with this one early, Nate.
Rattled off 21 straight points before the third quarter when Edmonton got on the scoreboard. Finally, it was all Kansas City right out of the chute. 11-0 at the end of the first quarter. and they never looked back. Kansas City increases their lead in the Midwest.
Yeah, and the NPSL standings, when you break down the league right now and you take a look at the NPSL standings, first in the National Conference's Midwest Division, Kansas City, as you can see right there, game and a half up on the Wichita Wings. The St. Louis Ambush have just been struggling this year.
They can't get anything going. Had a coaching change now. 7 games back at just 7-20 on the year. Kansas City has a chance possibly to gain some more ground as Wichita has to head to the toughest place in the NPSL to play right now, the Bradley Center in Milwaukee tomorrow. Should Wichita lose that game, Kansas City would be up by 2 games. But worst case scenario for the Attack, still going to have a 1-game lead in the division if Wichita comes up with the upset tomorrow.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the National Professional Soccer League and the Kansas City Attack Professional Indoor Soccer Club. Any reuse, rebroadcast, or any other accounts, descriptions, and accounts of this broadcast is strictly prohibited.
You just said that off the top of your head, didn't you?
I did that, and I don't know if I did it right, but we did it out. We threw it out there, man.
I think you did it exactly right, and Kansas City did it exactly right tonight as well. 23-7. Winners over the Edmonton Drillers. Big win for the Attack. They've got 2 more home games in a row next weekend.
All right, that's going to do it here from Kansas City for our entire crew. For Nate Bukaty, this is Nick Vassos saying good night from Kansas City. And hi again,